So the challenge that I faced was in regards to conducting a coaching engagement, and ordinarily that's not a problem. You know, coaching is a well-known set of skills. It's a well-recognised one. The challenge I had was the person I'd been asked to coach was based in Sanitas, so he was in the Madrid office. I'm based in the Brighton office, and there was very little chance of us being physically in the same place at any one point in time. So what I did to try and resolve that challenge was I went through a couple of stages. One was simply to say, right, next time you're in London, you know, I'll come up to London, we'll meet, we'll have the sessions then. It turned out he wasn't coming to London very often, so that wasn't practical. The next was to revert to things that I knew well, so using a phone conference. Now, phone conference can do some jobs well, it can't do coaching very well, and we managed to do the first engagement conversation adequately, but it wasn't the best, to be quite honest with you. So here I am thinking, this isn't what I want, this isn't the way I want to run it, what else can I do? And we thought, well, why don't we give video conferencing a go? Now that was again a new piece of technology, and it's something I'd never used before, and it was something I was a bit concerned about, because a lot of coaching is very much about the conversation and about the flow of the conversation. And for the same reason that phone conferences didn't work, I was extremely unsure that video conferences would. So the experience of the coaching sessions I conducted with him was that the product actually worked okay. Now it was not perfect. About 10 minutes into the first session, we had to set ourselves up a bit of an agreement in terms of, okay, if the call fails again, who's going to call who? Because it dropped out, and in an hour-long coaching session, it might drop out half a dozen times. So that was a nuisance. But what it turned out was it didn't actually break the coaching engagement. It didn't make the process not work. It was just one more thing you had to work through, like being in a noisy room, for example. So it meant that although we had to learn a couple of new skills, we did find a way of making it work. Now the other thing, that just from a pure sort of business and economic point of view, it meant that for people who were literally thousands of miles apart, we were able to do something which was valuable to the business. I didn't need to fly anywhere. I didn't need to pay transport or accommodation costs, and didn't get all the disruption of being not in your normal place of work and doing the other things you normally do. So for the cost of putting up with every now and then the call would drop out and you have to dial back, the benefits were fabulous. So the key learning for me out of this little situation is to challenge yourself to go back and test your preconceptions. And when something new comes along, use it as a mechanism to say, well, this is a new thing, therefore are the old rules or the old approaches still valid? I have a fairly direct view of what things you can do via computer with other human beings and what things you need to do face-to-face in order to achieve learning outcomes, things like that. And I'll be blunt, I started from the point of view of coaching has to be done face-to-face, otherwise it doesn't work. I now don't believe that, but it took me to test something and to try something to change that belief. So the learning and the advice I would give is look for the things that might challenge your preconceptions, because it can open up new opportunities.